I can stand here. Oh, no. Okay, that's... Hey, what's up, friends? And today we're going to be looking at the booby base. No. I'm not clickbaiting anything. Anyone who suggests that I use suggestively clad sexy women to promote my videos, I really don't understand it. I simply can't understand that criticism. Because, of course, this is fully legit. We are actually taking a look at the Booby Fall Trap base. And we're going to put it through a day 7000 high game stage and insane difficulty Blood Moon Horde. Oh, isn't that cool? And of course, as usual, we're going to be taking a look at how to actually upgrade it and see, can we make it work? 64 concurrent zombies, high game stage, insane difficulty. How is that even possible? So the way this one works, and let me go back into here, is that, well, you have the zombies coming there, and then let me put down some feral ones, and then we're gonna restart the AI here. All right, come on. They will be running up. Well, I can't see them there, but they'll be running around there, coming up and falling down. And then they'll be running around, and then they'll be falling down. Well, some of them are just walking because, you know, high heels, it's not easy to run. And then they'll keep doing that the whole horde, and I can stand back here, and I can hopefully just pop them a little bit in the head, get some experience, get some headshots and stuff like that. But how does it really work when you pump it up to, well, that many people, that many zombies? Oh, that doesn't look comfortable to be sort of hanging on one arm. So I'm going to take a little bit of time off and trying to buff up this base, because right now it's sort of like, I believe it's like reinforced concrete, which I don't think is going to hold up. I need some steel at least. So give me a moment and I'll get all that done and I'll be back. And here we are back at the upgraded base. So what I've done, I've basically taken a bunch of these pillars and I've basically upgraded them to be steel, because I think that's necessary. I'm also double up a little bit because I'm afraid that before I only had like one pillar here, and if that one is taken out, then we'll have a lot of problems. I put a couple of blade traps up here so I can take care of any vultures. And then I thought, hey, you know, I have no real easy way of killing zombies except just shooting them ahead. And with so many zombies, I might need something else. So I thought, let me try out as well. What happens if you have a bunch of blade traps? Does that help? I don't think these ones are going to survive the whole night, but at least they'll give a bunch of experience, and hopefully they don't even set off any of the cops, which means that I'll get a bunch of experience and I can just repair them in the morning. Unless they actually set off some cops, which hopefully doesn't happen. So, yeah, all steel, and I repainted stuff, and I missed a couple of spots that no one saw, which is fine. Otherwise, we have the same basic thing. We have the boobies here, and the way these work is that the zombies try to get out here, and once they're here, they try to path over there, even though there's nothing to walk on, and that causes them to fall down. Once they're down here, even if I don't have the blade traps spinning, because they can't actually bash anything, they might fall down all the way down there and bash a little bit, but most of them basically stumble around a little bit. Sometimes they rage and want to bash something, but they can't find anything, and hopefully that makes them just go up here, come around here, and then they restart their path down and continue doing that. We're going to have a bunch of them falling down here, I believe, simply because there's not tons of space anyway, and with that many zombies, it's going to be a lot of mayhem, but we'll see. I think it'll be fine. I don't think the whole thing will be torn down. I think there'll be a bunch of blocks that might be breaking. The blade traps, a bunch of them probably will also be breaking. And up here, the sense that I have is that this is the weak point of having, you know, all the zombies sort of congregating here, because it's still fairly narrow, and there's just, you know, there's a bunch of blocks that are steel, but they can take those out as well because it gets kind of choked up here. So we'll see what happens. Also here, when they fall down, that many of them, you probably have the issue that they're standing on top of each other, and that means that they can cause a lot of damage around here as well. So we'll see. I didn't actually steel up all the way, just up to here. This is just reinforced concrete. So we'll see what happens. But, well, let's get started. And there we have kickoff. You see where I'm blinking the light there? This is actually where I'm standing. I have detached the camera here. We have a bunch of zombies that should be coming in. Oh, they're coming from there. Even some vultures, which is fine. They're coming from that side, which is actually probably the worst one. They could be better if they're coming from here. And I remind people that we are at 64 concurrent zombies, so a lot of them should be coming. Oh, he's going a weird way. 64 concurrent, insane difficulty as well. And we are a fairly high game stage because I am level 300. So because it's day 7000, it's a fairly high game stage. I don't think you can get much higher single player. And let's see what happens here. They're coming, and some of them are going crazy here. So you might see some damage here as well. They are obviously pissed off, which is fine. The rest of the zombies are running here, which is what I wanted. They're coming down this path. And they're falling down here, and they are maybe doing a little bit of damage. No, actually, surprisingly not. Okay, that's alright. Then they fall down here, and here they might actually... Yep, they are dealing damage here, and that's what I was concerned about, because they are sort of standing on top of each other. You saw that soldier, he's like, I want to bash something. There's nothing here, because there's a gap here. So then he decides, fine, let me just run up here again. So this is alright. We are half an hour in. And which is alright. We have some vultures which we could take care of by just deploying and turning on the blade traps. I wonder what he's doing there, but that's alright. He's just standing there. The rest of the zombies, I don't think we have... Let's see, do we have any zombies spawning in? No, I think we have the full 64 zombies. Look at how crazy this looks. And these are the ones that are taking damage. What about over here? Some, yes. Nothing has broken yet. There is some damage, but actually less than I was expecting. And we're 45 minutes in. Let's see if I leave here and we start to turn on... Well, I can see, I can stand here and shoot. And then I can start getting some experience. I have a slight little lag spike there. I can stand here. Oh, no. Okay, that's...
A few moments later.
Alright, so mistakes have been made. Mistakes have really been made. Alright, rule number 1. Don't set off the demolisher. As you saw before I reloaded the save and redid this, is that, yeah, I set off the demolisher, we set off another demolisher, and everything was falling down. So the main thing to know here is always shoot head high. I'm actually getting some frame hitches here because I'm down to about 40 FPS because there's so many zombies that are around here. So the main thing that really keeping in mind here is make sure you shoot only at head level, because if you set off any of the demolishers, you're screwed. I mean, totally screwed, because it goes through. I'm using armor piercing rounds here, so don't do that. But let's say you don't set them off. Let's say you avoid doing that, because that's normally I never set them off. So we are back here after this small little mishap. Just small mistakes happening. If you're shooting, make sure you hit them in the head. Be very, very careful, because if you trigger that demolisher, then you are in for a big surprise, a very explosive surprise as well. So we're going to avoid that. Okay, so we are having them down there, which is fine. Let's see what happens if we turn on this one. Ooh. You see that experience coming in? Oh, let's turn on this one as well. And my frames just is hitching. Wow. Okay, let's turn those as well. I'm down to 20 FPS. That's one of the downsides of all the electricity. When things like this start happening, it's just so much for the game to deal with. And yes, 20 FPS. That's alright. You see the experience? Now I'm getting tons of experience as I'm just tearing through all these zombies. And I can sort of hide here from vomit. Cops would vomit because they can see me, but I can at least hide a little bit. But you see the experience is coming in. Oh, you can just hear that happening. I'm gonna go and hide here a little bit, and then I'm going to come back here to see what happened and see. Alright, that's actually not too bad. They are degrading fairly fast. You see, it's doesn't take that long to degrade them. Once they're down to 500, they stop working. Like this one is not working. This one probably will stop very soon. So it gives you, I don't know, half hour in game, whatever it is, before they stop working, because there's just so many zombies. But you're getting a bunch of experience, and repairing these ones is not too bad. You can't do it during the horde, however. And that's another reason why you want to make sure you don't set off any of the cops, because, well, if the cops explode, they destroy the blade traps and then you can't even repair them. So, you see, most of these ones have stopped spinning simply because they've sustained so much damage. These ones are still fine. but the rest ones are not. And now my FPS is going back up. So let's do this. Let's see. Let's assume I have a little bit of Molotovs. Let's do that. And let's do that. That should give me a little bit of experience. Because it will burn some of them to death. Oh, come on. Don't. Alright. A bunch of them died. I think some of the blade traps are still going, as you can see. A bunch of them are burning. See if I can wait until the fire goes out and then I'll... Oh, they're going down here. That's really weird. Well, let's start another one. And let's do that. Set them on fire. Someone has said that they've actually had Molotov set off the Demolisher. Maybe if you do a direct hit on him. Alright, getting some up there. I could shoot them, obviously, even if they don't die, but otherwise that's alright. A little bit difficult to shoot when you're having so much fire, because you can't see clearly. I mean, you can pick them off if you're really careful. You just have to be, well, really careful, because you want to make sure you don't hit him in the head. Well, hit him in the C4 and set that off. Oh, interesting. That one lost his legs. He got his legs decapitated. That's alright. Eventually, the zombies might die from the fall damage, simply because they run here enough times and they take maybe a few hits of damage when they fall down. And there's still the occasional one that get pushed into the blade traps there and there, but most of the blade traps have stopped working. It's actually going fairly well here. We are now, let's see, 2.5 hours into the Horde, and we're still going strong. And you see, the key is basically don't set off the Demolishers. Using Molotovs when there's so many seems to work well. The reason I'm not using pipe bombs or grenades or even rocket launchers is because you can actually set off the Demolisher. And if you do that, then, well, then you have the explosions, which is not what you want. You might be able to stand down here better. Actually, this might be a better place to sort of try to hit them when they fall down. Because you can sort of, you know when there's a Demolisher coming. Let's see if we set off another one here and we do... I love the Molotovs. The Molotovs look really good. And you probably can... Oh, he's fallen down. I wonder if I can take off his leg. Let's do that. Okay. Very difficult when you're shooting, so make sure you don't hit the wrong area on the Demolishers. As long as you're taking it easy, shooting down here probably is the preferred way, because you know if in the Demolisher, if you keep a little bit of an eye there, and then you can sort of get some body shots here. You are going to be using a fair bit of ammunition though, because you have no other way of killing them. Interesting, some of the vomit has actually taken out the blade traps here. They must have been vomiting really, really poorly, unfortunately. Ouch. Don't hit me. Don't vomit on me, bro. Here we get like that. And do that. Set them all on fire. See how much? Okay, let's do this. I am actually getting occasional kills from the burning. I mean, it's not tons, but it's some. Oh yeah, no, it's not too bad. Actually, I would probably say the best way is to just have a bunch of Molotovs here, because then you can sort of, you pop out, then you throw Molotovs. And of course, I'm throwing from this side because I can't both go out there and throw as well as show you how it works. But that's actually a surprising amount of experience, maybe because you see 1 or 2 Molotovs, you're basically setting almost all of the 64 concurrent zombies on fire. And with that many on fire, you see they actually do burn to death. Interesting, we had one zombie on fire ran all the way here. Okay, this is where the zombie AI is really weird. He's like, I'm out here, I'm out on my own, I don't know what I'm doing. That's the most peculiar zombie I've seen so far. And here's another one. Now I could imagine that if they're going for the tree, yeah, that's all right. That I can imagine, because the trees is something that is, you know, sort of, they hate them. They hate the rocks as well. It's a bit surprising they're not bashing here. They're going all the way here, but that's all right. And one really interesting thing that I noticed here actually is because, oh, he's, okay, so he's jumped over there and he's probably bashing me. But one thing I noticed though was that the demolishers, because they're not radiated, they don't actually heal. So eventually they will actually all burn to death because of, okay, come on. I'm trying to make a video here. They will all burn to death because they can't actually heal up. A lot of the other zombies, as you can see, are actually radiated ones. So they actually do heal up if you don't keep them continually aflame. But the demolishers... Oh! Oh, so you had a cop explode because of the flame damage. Alright, I guess that's something that could happen. So I guess a lot of the blade traps are not going to make it. That might be a little bit too expensive. I think that the use of the blade traps, you know, while cute, is probably fairly pointless and probably just cost you more. Oh, I almost died because of the... Yeah. You see, as soon as the cops explode, you have more problems that you want, because they'll take out the blade traps and then it's just costly. So I would probably skip the blade traps as a result, because a little bit of the damage here actually doesn't matter as much. It's fairly easy to repair. I mean, it's you know, it's either basically let them all run without using Molotovs, in which case you're not getting an experience, but there's no damage being dealt either. So if I just leave it like this, without having any Molotovs being thrown, they seem to pretty much be running around without dealing that much damage. And it's only because of the Molotovs that the cops are exploding. Now, this is something that I was a bit concerned about, that they would destroy this one. And you see here, this one has been taken out, so there's no path here. This one has not been taken out, so there is still a path here. And which seems to indicate that you will have actually a path the whole Blood Moon Horde, because only one side seems to be failing. The rest actually has a fair bit of hit points, so that one is not really at risk of breaking entirely, which is fine. That was my concern, because you can always replace one of this one. That's all right. And you see now, we shouldn't have any cops exploding, because they will take maybe a couple of hit points damage when they fall down here, but by the time they come up here again, they've healed, because most of them are radiated. He might not, but most of them are radiated, which means they heal more than actually lose from falling down here. And actually, they do a surprisingly little amount of damage here. We have another 14 minutes to go, and actually this is... I am really surprised that they are not bashing more than they are. I mean, I've upgraded a lot of this to steel, but it didn't seem like there was any real reason to, because beyond this critical area, which we identified in the beginning, there's very little damage. I mean, there's been some to exploding cops, but beyond that, we seem to be really, really good. And let's say maybe this one? No, it's just, that's really, really minor. That's the occasional cop explosion only. I thought that there would be... Oh, there we are. Okay, so let's do a kill all here. Obviously, if you were doing this just by yourself and you weren't in God mode and stuff like that, like I am, you would have to kill them. You couldn't basically just kill all. But I can do that because I'm in God mode. I'm just doing testing. So let's have a look here. Let's look at the path, because that's one of the crucial things. The path coming up here is very little damage. Some here, some on the wall. They might take out this one, but that's all right. This one they took out, though, so there is no path here. But they have a path on this side, and while they've done some damage, it's definitely not enough to actually break it, because even if this one breaks, we're still all right, because they can still walk here, even if this one is there. So this definitely survives the whole Blood Moon Horde, and that's crucial. The second part is all the way down here, very little damage. There was some cop explosions. What about down here? It's a little bit damage. Here, oh, there, actually, they took out one block, which is obviously not structural, which is fine. A little bit here and there. They do get stuck when they really fall down and rage a little bit. These ones, no issue at all. A little bit of bash damage, but not much at all. Actually, that was surprisingly little amount of damage. There is some around here, so there is a bunch of fixes that you have to do, and a lot of it is simple because you're not able to kill the zombies, so they will be around for a really long time compared to if you're having a design where you're killing them by the hundreds by using dart traps and stuff like that continually. Then there is less really opportunity for them to just bash things, and there's more here, but surprisingly not that much. And I think a bunch of this damage is also because of the exploding cops, because once you start using Molotovs, the police officers will take enough damage to go into the explosion animation, and because the burning fire will not kill them fast enough, they will all pretty much explode. So that's something to take into account. But if you just leave it, I think we're actually doing just well. Surprisingly. So the booby trap works really well with this additional rage protection, and I made a video of how I actually constructed this one and ran a normal horde against it as well. I'll try to link that in the description below, but I think this I will call this a win. I think it worked really well considering insane difficulty, 64 concurrent, and a really high game stage at day 7,000 Blood Moon Horde. And it definitely makes me confident that building this kind of base will sustain pretty much anything the game can throw at you, whether you are by yourself or you have friends around. Just don't set off those damn demolishers. You're gonna have a bad day. Hopefully you enjoy this, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. We just hit 15,000 subscribers. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Let's hit 16,000 before 2020 is over, and I can only do that with your help. So do hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you again next time. Have a wonderful weekend.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.